Good morning, Year 9s. We're going to be looking at the assignment that you need to complete while I'm away at the moment. So the first thing is, of course, to be on our class page, which we are now, and you'll see on the right-hand side in the course outline, we now have the Power Tools assignment appearing. If it's closed up for you, again, just remember you can open that at any time. The easiest way to get the assignment sheet is simply to click on the Tools assignment to take you to the place that you would normally submit it. And you can see here a brief summary. So there are two parts to doing this assignment. The first one is just a planning. So that really is about getting the assignment sheet, which we're about to look at, and about thinking about and just taking a few notes down about how you're going to go about completing this task. So just like we plan a project that we're going to make with either 3D designs or something like that, we also should plan how we're going to go about a research assignment. To think about where you're going to find materials, how you are going to present the work itself, and things like that. Making a few notes and including those as part of your final presentation. Part B, of course, is actually completing the bulk of the task. And as it says here, we refer to this assignment sheet for this task, and of course ensure that we complete each step of the work before we make our submission. So let's now have a look at the assignment task itself. We click on the worksheet there, open it up. It should normally download, but it might also open directly for you. Just depends on how you've got yours set up. And let's now have a look. So for this task here, we can see that we have to choose 3 power tools that you might use either at home or in the construction industry. This work needs to be done on your laptop in a format that is suitable for submission to Schoolbox. So of course things like Word and PowerPoint are fine, but there are other methods and ways you can produce this work also that will be suitable to submit to Schoolbox. It does say at the bottom, I'll just mention now though, that you may want to check with me first before you go off to do something a little bit creative. Not that I want to stifle creativity. In fact, I'd love you to be very creative, but you need to make sure that it's going to be in a format that I can open. So if you're going to use some fancy program that you may have access to at home, or come across something unusual that seems great, you might just want to make sure that I can open it first. But anyway, let's have a look at what you need to do for each tool. So for each tool, you need to provide a picture of the tool. That's fairly straightforward. You need to provide a description of what the tool does and where it is used. So e.g. at home, building site. And obviously I'd expect a little bit more than saying you use it at home. So you need to describe that, not just write a single word. You need to provide a picture of the tool with arrows pointing out particular safety features. So this is not the main picture in point 1 here. This is a secondary picture that talks about the features. This picture might come from a manufactured website, and it might even be one being exploded open or had parts cut out of it to show internal mechanisms. So that's why it's different to the first picture, which is just a nice picture of the tool itself. Then number 4, you need to describe how you would use this tool safely. So talk about the safety features again and how you use them. And of course, you also need to talk about any other safety equipment that might be required along with this, such as ear protection, eye protection, and so forth. So things that are not part of the tool, but are important for the use of the tool. You then need to provide a detailed description of how to use the tool and what materials it is useful for. So again, you might have a tool that is really great for cutting wood, but you should not use it for plastic. So you need to talk about these sorts of things. Number 6, you need to explain the advantages and disadvantages of this particular tool. So again, it might require multiple people to use. Okay, it might be a disadvantage. Some of the safety might be an advantage. It might be the speed of how quickly you can cut through or use it on a piece of material. It might be a disadvantage being the cost of the tool itself. So there are lots of possible things to consider for number 6. Number 7, you need to list a group of companies that produce the tool. So again, often tools are made, or variations at least, are made by multiple companies. And that leads into number 8, which is to explain why there might be different costs between the same type of tool. So you might buy a drill, for example, that is only $100 for one company, but a drill that appears to be basically the same might be $400 at another company. So you need to have a think about why would there be such cost differences between the manufacturers for the same type of tool. And then number 9, provide a correctly set out bibliography. So all research and all assignments, you should provide an accurate list of where you've got your information in a proper bibliography. Now, a couple of points at the bottom here to note. The first one, again, this work must be completed as an electronic presentation. So while you can certainly take notes on paper to gather your thoughts, you must present the final piece as an electronic presentation. And again, this dot point is what I was mentioning at the start. So the exact format that you use is entirely up to you, as long as it can be properly submitted as a file to Schoolbox. What that kind of means is we don't want links to be handed in, so I don't want a shared document. I don't want a link to a website necessarily. What we want is a proper file that is submitted to Schoolbox and can then be opened by me when I need to correct it. So as I said, you might want to check with me before you go off and do something a little bit unusual. But again, I don't want to stifle creativity. If you've got an interesting idea and maybe it might break one of those rules, for example, so maybe the only way to have it is a shared link from a website, then please get in contact with me as soon as possible and I'll give my approval as appropriate there. So, yeah, as I said, don't want to stifle your creativity. Now, checking the Schoolbox with due date, and at this point, the due date is next week. This is not a particularly complex research assignment, and the fact that you're having today's double lesson to work on it means that you should at least be able to get all of your research done today and have a good start on your final presentation. So make sure you're not wasting your class time today, and we will see where we're up to the following week. If I believe people have worked hard on this and need a little bit of extension, I'll be willing to discuss that, but let's stick with the idea that it is due next week at this point. Aim for that and see how things progress. All right, good luck with this, everyone. As I said, it's not particularly complicated. Again, your aim today should definitely be to finish your research in class and get a good start on the presentation.